Hi guys and gals, Ripsy Thun back, and I'm going to talk about the next Singularity that's about to drop in the next, well, for me making this video, about 2 hours. And that's E Pluribus Unum. Yeah, we're going to America. Now, not only will we be getting a new story, we'll also be getting new materials for Ascension. There will be Spirit Roots, Warhorse Smallhorns, Black Stone of Blood, and Black Tallow. Now, if you were thinking about speeding through this Singularity real quick just to get all the Saint cores that are coming at the end, you'll be up for a little bit, unless you want to use those golden apples. Because to complete this Singularity, you'll need to run through about 1217 AP. So, I currently have a maximum AP of around 137, so it's going to take me about 4 days to complete this Singularity if I just wait for it to refill. But once we do get through this Singularity, you can get 21 Saint Quartz from completing all the main quests, 14 Saint Quartz from all the free quests. Not only that, for the pre-launch giveaway, they're giving out, if you heard from the Twitch stream, 20 free Saint Quartz, and I assume the typical 3 Saint Quartz for maintenance. Pretty much enough for 2 10 shots in a single. I think that's a good fair amount of Saint Quartz just to be given away. Though they're still all cursed because, in my honest opinion, free quartz are cursed. I've never gotten anything from free quartz. Yeah, never. Alright, first up we have Nightingale the Berserker, who I call the Anomaly. She has a max attack of 11,148 and a max Grail HP of 16,675. Now her max Grail attack is, I'm going to say, slightly low for 5. Actually, it is rather low for 5-star Berserkers, I'm not going to lie. But her HP is up on the higher end. She is supposed to be a support servant, so I guess that's why she has much higher HP than she does have on offense. But I digress. She has an MP charge of 0.77%, Star Gen of 5%, MP charge on defensive 5%, and a death rate of 56.8%. Now, her deck is Quick Arts Buster Buster. She does have 2 Arts cards, unlike most of the Berserker servants so far, save for Vlad, who usually have a Buster Buster Buster. However, she is more geared towards support, so let's throw in those Arts cards to try to help with her slightly low MP charge. Now, her active skills. Now, her first active skill is Nurse of Steel A, which will recover one ally's HP. It will start off at 2,000, ending off at 4,000. Still weird that a Berserker is healing people, but hey, it's a big multiverse out there, why not? Second skill, we have Human Comprehension A. Now this is an actual really good skill for her, because it increases own attack against humanoid enemies for 3 turns, and defense against humanoid enemies for 3 turns. Now the damage will start off at 30% and cap off at 50% at level 10, and defense will start at 15% and cap off at 25%. Now the reason this is really good for her is because amongst all the enemy categories, humanoid is, I do believe, let me double check, the biggest of that pool. Yeah. See, now the humanoid category is actually rather large, so she has a good amount of people that she can use this skill on. Now her third and final skill is Angel's Cry EX. It will increase one ally's Buster performance for 3 turns, from 30% at level 1 to 50% at max. Now see, she is a support servant again, so having the ability to give any one person on the team, a Buster performance boost, including herself, if necessary, is really, really good. Especially if you already have a servant on the team that further increases Buster performance by 50%. Let's say, for example, I don't know, who could possibly benefit from a Buster performance boost? Who knows? But I digress. Either way, she does have the Mad Enhancement EX passive skill, which will increase her own buster performance by 12%. So if there's no one else to benefit from this Angel's Cry EX skill, she can make use of it herself. Now, her Noble Phantasm, we're just going to look at the upgraded form because she does get an interlude. It is Nightingale Pledge. It is an anti-army archetype Noble Phantasm. It will reduce all enemies' attack by 50% for one turn. Again, this is after the interlude. Before the interlude, it will simply remove party debuffs and recover party's HP. But with the interlude, that reduction of 50% for one turn, so reducing all enemies' attack by even 50% for one turn, since she is a berserker, does help her greatly, and if it just helps for the rest of the team as well. It will remove the party debuffs and recover HP. At base, it will start off at 3,000 of a heal and max off at 5,000 of a heal, so it's a difference of about 2,000. It's kind of negligible if you think of her first skill, so you really don't need to get her to MP5. In my opinion, it's not really necessary. So, charge at 100% reduces their MP damage for one turn and starts at 50%, maxes off at 100%. Again, you don't really need to get her up to MP5. So, we're just looking at 75% if you leave it at the end of a Noble Phantasm chain. So, if we look at reasons to summon for a servant, so we have near the top of their class. She is pretty much all 5 stars will be near the top of their class. Amazing skills and Noble Phantasms. Yes, she does have a rather impressive set of skills for a support berserker, I assume. Her Noble Phantasm is really good because it's an arch type Noble Phantasm. So if you have her on an arch team, which most likely you should if you do get her, her Noble Phantasm should be on a continuous cycle, constantly reducing their attack and healing your teammates. Now, she does not currently strengthen team weaknesses. My team is rather solid when it comes to support, so that's out. She's not limited. She does have rather interesting artwork, so she'll get a check on that. Waifu, yeah, I guess. And replaces a poor servant class? No. I have Lad. He is a great berserker, so no poor servants in that regard. So we're going to place Nightingale in the kind of want category. Alright, second up we have Helena Blavatsky. Helena is actually the servant I really want most in this banner, so of course I'm not going to get her, but anyway, she has a max attack of 10,448 and a max Grail HP of 14,407. Star absorption 51, every charge 0.45, death rate 36%, star gen 10.7%, and 3% on MP defense. So she has a deck of quick arts buster. Now, something I like to point out, it may not be 100% on point, but still I call Helena pretty much the 4-star equivalent of Waver. Now the reason I say this, she has 1,000 points lower Grail attack and 1,000 points lower on Grail HP than Waver. She does have the same deck build. She does have, well, much lower on MP charge, but her skills actually do seem somewhat reminiscent of Waver. Now, her first skill, Magical Tuning C, charges the entire party's Noble Phantasm gauge. At level 1, it starts at 10%, and at level 10, it charges by 20%. Now, this is somewhat like Waver's 2 skills, his attack buff and defense buff. Each one will boost the party by 10. Now, even though his does depend on level, they will still get the flat 10. Either way, by using one skill, she will give 20 noble, 20% Noble Phantasm for the entire party. Now, her third skill is reminiscent of Waver's attack buff skill, Pursuit of the Unknown Bee, but we'll get back to that one in a second. Her second skill is Mahatma A. She will gain 5 critical stars every turn for 5 turns, and also have a chance to increase own Noble Phantasm damage by 50% for 1 turn. Now, the MP damage increase chance starts at 60% at level 1 and caps off at 80% at level 10. Now, going back to the third skill, Pursuit of Unknown B, it will increase the party's performance, the entire party's performance, quick arts and buster performance for 3 turns. 3 turns. So, it will start at 15% above and end at a 20% buff. So no matter what type of attack you're doing, it's going to get a performance boost from her. Now, I know that's not exactly like Waver's attack buff skill, but it is somewhat in the same category, seeing as it will pump up the damage output for whatever card you're using. Now, her passive skills is Territory Creation A. Territory Creation A will increase own arch performance by 10%, and Item Construction B will increase own debuff success rate by 8%. Sanat Kumara is an anti-army arch-type noble phantasm. It will deal damage that ignores defense buffs to all enemies after the interlude. Prior to the interlude, it will just deal damage to all enemies, and it will be about 150% weaker per stage. Now, another reason why I compare her to Waver, upon using her Noble Phantasm, starting at 100% charge, it will decrease enemies' defense by 10% and at maximum decrease it by 50%. That is also to at least towards the end, how much Waver's Noble Phantasm will drop their enemies' defense. Not only that, the more you use this Noble Phantasm, the more likely it is to succeed, because it will also drop the debuff resistance from 10% to 50%, also dropping the crit chance from 10% to 50%. She is a rather good 4-star caster. Now, when it comes to reason to summon for her, well, she's not necessarily near the top of her class, so that's out, but she does have an amazing skill set and Noble Phantasm, so 1 point. Strengthens current team weaknesses? No. Limited time? No. I do love the artwork. Waifu? Sure. Replaces poor servant class? Again, I do have waivers, so I'm pretty decent in the support class. So this is still going to put her in, well, the kind of want category. So that's 2 for the kind of wants. Let's move on to the third one. Alright, third up we have Rama. Rama, the Saber class servant, the one servant I do not want to pull on this banner. He has a maximum attack of 11,931 and a maximum Grail HP of 14,541. Star absorption 100, MP charge on attack 0.84, death rate 24.5, actually pretty good for a servant. Star generation 10.2%, MP charge on defense 3%. Now he has a typical deck of quick arts buster busters, normal for the Saber class. I do like his artwork. It's actually rather cool. But let's talk about his active skills. Now, for his first skill, we have Warrior's Blessing A, which increases own critical star absorption for 1 turn and increases own critical damage for 1 turn. Star absorption will start at 300% and cap off at 500% at level 10. Crit damage will start off at 50% and cap off at 100% at level 10. So, we can already see he's geared more towards trying to be a crit master. Let's look at the second skill, Charisma B. It will increase the party's attack for 3 turns. Now it's going to start off at a meager 9% and end up at 18%. Not a lot, but still every little bit helps. It is only B rank after all. Moving on to skill number 3. Skill number 3, we have Curse of Separation A. It will grant him a Guts status for 1 time for 3 turns. He will revive with 1000 HP and he will recover HP on his own. Now, the HP gained will start at 1,000 and end off at 3,000. Pretty straightforward skill set. Not too much to talk about there. Now, his passive skills are Magic Resistance A, which increases on debuff resistance by 20%. Riding A+, increases on quick performance by 11%. And Divinity A, which will increase his own damage by 200. Now, his Noble Phantasm is Brahm, ooh, Brahmastra. Hope I'm saying that right. Now, it is an anti-demon Noble Phantasm of the Buster variety, so it will only be targeting one enemy. Alright? Now, the damage will start off at 600% and cap off at 1000% if you manage to get him to MP level 5. He will deal extra damage to magical enemies. Now, the magical enemies that we've encountered so far are, of course, the demon, all the little wraiths, the ancient ghosts, skeletons, ogres, pretty much everything that you would probably see from a man's nightmare. But yeah, it's an actual rather decent sizable pool, so okay, it's a good secondary skill, I give it that. Now, what will we rate Rama? Now, near the top of their class, actually, he is kind of near the top of his class if you do manage to grail him up to level 100. Is still somewhere on the medium high category, but he is an actual rather straightforward good saber servant. Amazing skills, Noble Phantasm. I won't give it amazing. It's okay. They're semi vanilla skills, so they're not great. They're just fine for him. Strengthen current team weakness, no. Limited time, no. Great artwork. Again, I do love the artwork. It is rather cool. Husbando, sure. Replaces poor servant class, no. No. I have almost every saber servant, so not, no, we're good on that. So this is going to place Rama in the meh category. So not really that concerned about pulling him. Don't want to pull him, but if I do, I'm not gonna turn him away. So where does that leave us? Now, Mercedes was in the kinda want category, so we have a hard cap of 120 Saint cores to be expended on this banner. However, we are going to be getting about 63 Saint cores for completing the story. So what I may do is I may just do maybe 3 multis at the beginning, and then after completing the story, just burn the rest of the Saint cores. Not going too crazy, but burn the rest of the Saint cores to see if I can also get Mebd, Ku Alter, Thomas Edison, and I think Li Xuan. They will be unlocked after you complete the story, so having the possibility of pulling those servants, I think I'll wait to get rid of all the cords at least. So, until I summon, bye bye.